Let me share that, sir, South Gujarat Productivity Council started way back in 1992, and it is affiliated to National Productivity Council, whose apex body is anyway Ministry of Commerce and Industry, the same department from which you belong to. And South Gujarat Productivity Council geographical area is from Bharuch to Vapi. So we are ideally supposed to work for the entire region, and we are trying to expand beyond Surat also. And South Gujarat Productivity Council is supported by the Southern Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industry. In fact, it is promoted by Southern Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Sir, currently we have our own training center at Athwa Gate, and we are successfully running diploma course in export-import business for last 15 years, and it is a 3 months certificate course, and we have approximately 700 alumni of this course. And beyond this export-import course, we are also starting this certificate course in cyber security in a couple of weeks now. This is our existing infrastructure, but with the hard work of our illustrious past presidents, we have generated a small corpus, of which we are going into a 4,000 square foot ultra modern office space in the Sarsana campus of Chamber of Commerce. In this 4,000 square foot, sir, we propose to have a modern training facility at a total outlay of approximately 2 crores of rupees. Friends, I invite all of you who are still not members of South Gujarat Productivity Council to join the council and benefit from the activities of this council right now, and the activities that we propose to do in the future years on this very modern facility of approximately 4,000 square foot in a couple of years by now. So I once again invite you to become member of South Gujarat Productivity Council and get benefited. Talking about today's program, friends, all governments across the world by now have converted themselves into welfare state, and the meaning of welfare state in terms of political science means that the first priority of any government is employment generation. Even in USA, the progress or the success of government is measured by only one litmus test. Every month they see only one figure: what is the employment rate, or rather what is the unemployment rate, and that is the indication of how your economy is going forward. In India also, the new NDA dispensation at center has proclaimed its global aspirations with announcement of its Make in India initiative as a major driver of Indian economy for at least 5 years down the line. Friends, whether it is Make in India or Made in India or Make for India, all three ways, winner is going to be Indian economy. And our Modi government's international political diplomacy has seen new height with US President Shri Barack Obama Sahab being chief guest of our Republic Day celebrations. Friends, government's intent is reflected in the focus in Make in India initiative, and international trade environment is also very, very congenial for India these days. Now it is for us, the business community, to rise to the occasion, to seize the opportunity and benefit from it. And for that, whether we are running a small industry, or we are into a business activity, or we are professionals working as catalysts to industrial growth, whether our canvas is local or international, we must understand India's foreign trade policy. Even if our business canvas currently is local only, it is very, very essential for us to understand how international business dynamics are working nowadays, because we never know, next day somebody can come from China and dump the products that you are manufacturing, and you might find yourself wanting for information. The foreign trade policy of any government for that matter gives immense insights about government's focus areas, special schemes and incentives of various types. With a thorough understanding and awareness of provisions of any policy, we can fine-tune our business models and make best out of it. Talking of India's foreign trade policy, we have been having export policies and import policies, etc. But the foreign trade policy in the present version or the present avatar has been since 2003, I think. 2003 to 2008 was the first one, and then you have the second, and now we will be into third one. So 2003 onwards, we have been having formal foreign trade policies, 5-year policies with annual supplements. The impact of these versions of foreign trade policies has been really noteworthy. Way back in 2003, when these foreign FTPs were started in the present version, our global share in the global trade was less than 1%. Less than 1%. Today, that is 2013 figures, are still not very encouraging, but we are inching towards 2% of global international trade. And the next foreign trade policy, which is in the offing from 2015 onwards for the 5 years, would obviously strive for doubling the exports. Every version of FTP typically tries to aim for doubling the trade, and which would be approximately 4%. But then even this 2%, 3% or 4% is not very encouraging when we see the global trade data. According to WTO estimates, our international trade is approximately $313 billion only. $313 billion only out of approximately $18 trillion of global trade done every year. And out of this $18 trillion, approximately $2.2 trillion is coming from China. So China is one of the biggest exporters, first category exporters across the globe, and China's exports, or whether we call it exports or international business, is approximately 13 to 14 times that of India. So when we compare China, this is the state of affairs. That more or less all of us know. But then what is more staggering or somewhat amusing is that countries like Singapore, Mexico, Spain, or Belgium. Belgium's population would be probably less than Surat, I don't know, but not more than Bombay for sure. Belgium's international trade is substantially more than that of India. So if that is the state of affairs, we really need to rise to the occasion and take up the cudgels and see to it that our share in the international trading improves. Sir, you would certainly be talking about various aspects of FTP, outgoing FTP and the incoming FTP, but we would insist that you speak at least about these 4 or 5 things, that is MDA, Market Development Assistance, MAI, Market Access Initiative, Focus Market Scheme, FPS, that is the Focus Product Scheme, etc. Because all of us know about these things, but then when it comes to taking benefits, not many of us are, those who are really into export-import business are also still not being able to take advantage of these schemes. So I'll request you to focus on these, and also about EPCG scheme, because here we have very many weavers who are importing textile machinery as per the specifications of the TUF scheme of Government of India, but while importing, if they are aware about the benefits of EPCG scheme also, they would be more encouraged to install latest modern machinery in Surat. We would also request you to give us a glimpse of upcoming 5-year FTP, so that people can start planning accordingly if you have certain information. Sir, talking of the audience, in this hall we have members of Southern Productivity Council, professional consultants and chartered accountants predominantly, exporters and importers, and students of international business. Friends, with these opening remarks, I welcome you once again to this program, and would like to take up this opportunity to thank Hemant Prajapati of J&J Impacts for putting together this program, and Hemlata ji is still not here, but thanks to Hemlata ji, Professor Hemlata Agarwal, for giving me a clean walkover in a way. And I hope that inputs from the seminar will be beneficial to one and all, and I welcome you once again and thank you very much.